Sean and Brad as they talk about sports and share a beer. From the east coast of Canada to the west coast of the United States. Over to you, boys.
Everybody, what's good with you? Sean and Brad, Guys Beer Sports, joined today with the effervescent Reid. As always, fellas, good morning.
Morning,
Brad.
Hey,
Reid, you look
Brad.
great.
Hey, let me finish the open. Come on now. My name is Brad. I come to you from the West Coast. Sean is somewhere, maybe in Toronto, looks like. I don't know. I can't tell if he slept in that hat, so I'm not sure if he's on the road or not. Reid is in the Boston area, so that's where we come from today. We're here to talk all things, really all things. We had an agenda, but I doubt it gets put out, so we'll see where we go from here. Fellas, good morning.
Morning,
Bradley.
Hey.
I will say, since the last time we all talked, there's been, some very a lot of interesting things that have happened. I will say that we know there's some sad things that have happened too. So, Sean, if you'd like to open the show, we'll give you 3 minutes to.
Yeah, Sean, talk about how the Bruins got knocked out in the first round. Sean, let's start.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Fucking travesty.
My gosh. So dreading it.
I was gonna say we should have like some kind of schedule, but I know you're gonna hijack it with some Leafs garbage halfway through, and we're just gonna have to unload. It's like we can't even be like, oh, let's talk about this, and this, because we'd be like, so the NFL draft, and Sean be like, the NFL draft's not like the Leafs season. You just never know what's gonna happen, except for there's gonna be a surprise in the first round. It's not a surprise to other people because they all saw it coming.
The Leaf fandom has the weirdest word associations too, because you'd be like, oh, there's 60 minutes, and now he's like 60. Austin Matthews scored 60 goals, and somehow we're out in the first round. It's like, I'm sorry, Sean. I don't.
Yeah.
Move on.
It's so sad. It's so sad. But yeah,
it's not sad. It's normal. Like, this is the thing.
No. It's sad because they gave him a pass.
This is like talking to your friend who always makes terrible relationship decisions, and they're like, I just didn't know she was going to be crazy. Bro, the last 19 girlfriends have been crazy. We all seen it as soon as you walked in the door, okay?
You knew. I tell you all the time.
You're just holding out hope for true love.
The Leafs are that coked up stripper in the yellow Corvette. And you keep going back to the well
I just
for
keep
it.
Going back for more, eh?
Yep. We just have a moment of science for the Boston Bruins in their first round playoff loss, and how their fan base is losing their collective minds. We would like to
exactly. They're like Swayman.
Tough times.
Yeah, Swayman was the problem there. I don't know.
How dare you?
How are we talking about Boston Bruins? Because Boston was a surprise to be there first off in the playoffs. Like, let's.
How dare you?
Yeah, they were surprised. The Leafs, I don't understand that. 54 wins, 114 points, 60 goal scorer. And the press, the media gives them a pass on yet another first. Well, it's Stanley Cup champions. 7 games.
Well,
that's a pretty good pass.
It's not a pass.
Should we pull back the last footage we had though? And I was like, hey, you're gonna play Tampa Bay. And you're like, I welcome it. They're on the slide.
I do, because look at Tampa right now. Look at Tampa right now going up against Florida. Florida is nothing but they're like Florida. I mean, Tampa is they're smacking them around. Tampa's smacking them around.
Okay.
That wasn't even an insult. You're like, Florida's Florida. It's like, yes, facts. What are you getting at, though?
Reid is Reid, okay? Reid is Reid.
Reid is Reid. And Florida's Florida. Listen, Tampa is going to win this cup thanks to the refs, giving them all the power plays in the world. Giving them all the power plays in the world. That's awesome. They're going to win a cup because they can score a lot of power plays. It seems that, being a top 60 goal scorer doesn't give you any sort of calls within the NHL whatsoever. It seems like, you have the best season you've ever had, and your reward is to face the 2-time Stanley Cup champions. It's crazy. But what's even worse is the media giving all of them a pass. Kyle Dubas, Brendan Shanahan, Sheldon Keefe, they all get a pass. I'm sorry, but Sheldon Keefe should have been a better coach and realize that Justin Hall is not your guy in your number 3 defense pairing with Mark Giordano. You should realize that. This guy is coughing up the puck, he crashes the net for the overtime goal on his own goaltender. He gets called for interference call, which was a weak call, by the way. Interference call for Johnny Tavares' goal is ridiculous. Ridiculous. That guy's a
all right. So that was 30 seconds with Sean. A lot of things were said. I want to put this in perspective for you, Sean. You're talking about how unfair it is. The Leafs had to play the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round. Let's talk about all the teams that didn't make it into the playoffs out of the Pacific Division there. Because there's a lot of teams that deserve to be there that just couldn't be there because of the pressure cooker situation that you've got out west with the Flames. And like the Kings are creeping in, like all of a sudden, starting to look like a really good team that's going to be in the postseason again year after year. You know what I mean? So at least you were there. At least you got those extra games. You weren't embarrassed.
Yeah.
No,
you lost to the defending champs. So
I know.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but you know what? You keep saying that. We went down to Boston, like that one series in 2013. Boston, we're up 4-1. They come back and destroy us there 5-4. Come on, Reid. That was like, okay, don't feel bad about that. They were in the cup 2 years ago. Well, that's 2013.
2013 was a decade ago.
That's exactly it. And we've been saying the same thing over and over and over. It's like, don't feel so bad.
Well, the Leafs stink in the postseason. What are you going to do?
I don't even know. It's like.
What did Drake have to say about the whole thing? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Drake is now, I don't know, riding Jason Tatum's coattails. I have no idea.
Not a bad place to be. Not a bad.
How about the Biebs? Did the Biebs weigh in on his frustration with the playoff exit, or is he more grounded than most of you?
I think Bieber is, he's good. He's a good thing for Toronto.
Bieber is the most grounded Torontonian.
Yeah.
Out of the whole bunch.
Think about this. Think about that, Sean. Is a big picture. Just think that through.
And the other thing too is like, why wouldn't you play? Like, okay, Wayne Simmons had one game where he was a little bit undisciplined, but you need that gritty guy in there. We had no grit. I think Spezza was.
What you don't know is how undisciplined was he in practice and in meetings, and is he a distraction? Like that's what you don't know, right? We can't.
There's a lot of stuff
all of this stuff off of game performance because you don't know how much the coaching staff trusts them for how they've been showing up in preparation.
Yeah,
Sean, is that moonshine or is that water?
He's drinking Everclear over there.
Yeah,
it's water. It's water.
What we didn't tell Sean is this is actually an intervention.
Yep.
Anyways, that's
welcome to the show, friends.
Yeah, that's
Sean's intervention.
I had to get this off my back, but it's been a horrible. It's been a horrible month for Toronto sports. It has been.
I'm glad you brought up Wayne Simmons because it brought up something else for me, which is like Wayne Simmons is one of the prototypical power forwards, right? Like. You think of those guys like the legends like Cam Neely and stuff like that. And then you see, is that going to fit in the modern game of NHL hockey? And you look at Wayne Simmons' situation, you might think that's not the case because, the way penalties are really affecting games severely these days, as you alluded to with complaining about the refs there. But then you see Milan Lucic out there in Calgary doing great.
I know. They flushed that guy's career when he was in Edmonton. They said, "Oh, he's done," and now he's in Calgary and he's like rejuvenated himself. Tyler nice Toffoli. But even when you have a look at, oh my goodness, why can't I think of him on Tampa Bay right now? Corey Perry. You think about Corey Perry. I mean, that guy, he's a grinder, but he'll score you points.
Oh yeah.
And Patrick Maroon has to be the most gooniest goon of all goons, and he's out there with 3 Stanley Cup rings, and he's out there for Tampa right now. I mean, that guy. Did you have a look at that guy? Do you have a good look at him? He looks like a goon, like straight from the movie Goon. Like special delivery.
He looks like the goon of the gooniest goons.
He was the goon of the gooniest goons.
I'm so happy to see that there's still a place for those guys. You know, because like you saw like Tom Wilson, there was a lot of friction there around a player like that, and it's just like
Tom Wilson's a first round. He's a first round pick. He went in the first round.
Plays like a guy with a chip on his shoulder, like he was a sixth or something. I don't know what the fuck his problem is.
Like
I'm just glad to see this still placing the work for them. Yeah,
yeah.
He was always picked last on the playground. He just channeled it in.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think? What do you think of the rejuvenation of Max Domi in these postseason with Carolina?
I'm loving it.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's another guy that was kind of he kind of bounced around a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's just blood test. That's what I think.
What's that?
I think he needs a little blood test. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's definitely playing with some type of edge.
He is. But you know,
he called Ray Lewis and got some deer antler spray or something.
Yeah.
Shit, you know what I mean?
Man, I am amazed. I am amazed. What was the okay? I wanna move on right now. Well, no, we'll get to the NBA playoffs. Let's just talk about the second round right now. Is anybody surprised with the NHL playoffs at the second round of what's going on?
Surprised you made it 22 minutes in and you haven't talked about the Alberta connection yet, being your
no. This is the second exactly. What first off
22 minutes in and you haven't even had any
9-6 game one. 9-6 game one. 5-3.
I would appreciate if you would say it's 6-9 as the appropriate way would be to say it.
Well, if you're an Edmonton fan, I guess it would be 6-9. Yeah.
Nice.
68 to owe you one.
What's crazy about that game is if you look at the score, it doesn't seem like it was all that close, but it was tied at one point. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was tied late in the game at one point. And the maturity of Calgary, and you know, you're watching Connor McDavid and all the superlatives you can use to describe Connor McDavid. The one I don't hear enough is patience.
Mm.
Some of those goals he's scoring on, like you see guys that get those opportunities and they just fire first look. I'm watching Connor McDavid that game, and he's just waiting and waiting and waiting. And it's just like, and the dangles will get you there, sure. The speed will get you there, sure. The agility will get you there, sure. But the patience is why he's really finishing, you know, everything he's doing right now. It's just wild to see.
Simply amazing.
Calgary has somehow found a way to get around that. Just like, all right, we're just gonna. They'll score 6 every game. We're gonna score 9. Whatever we have to do.
I know. I can't believe that. Like, I mean, first off, Calgary's got to me they got the edge in goaltending with Jacob Markstrom. Like he's
didn't look like it.
I know. 9-6. That's like 6-9. Yeah, it's crazy. And then 5-3 yesterday. But that goal that McDavid scored to make it 3-2 was just a thing of beauty. Just a thing of beauty. And I think he's now at 20 points. It's only the second round. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's a shame to see one of those teams. One of those teams are going to be gone. And to me, I mean,
you're not gonna bring that back to the Tampa Bay Toronto series. It's a shame one of those teams had to go.
That's done. That's done. And we're seeing what Tampa's doing with Florida. I mean, they're just going right through Florida like a hot knife in butter. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
ballpark nachos.
Yep.
Just like it. I mean, they, you know, it is what it is. I mean, same thing with Carolina though. Carolina's going through the Rangers.
Yeah, and that's one I thought that would be a lot more competitive.
You thought so?
I thought that would be. I thought that was going to be a lot more competitive.
I think
I know the Rangers has a lot of question marks still like that, but they got a good goaltender. They got Adam Fox on the blue line. They got 2 solid lines of center forwards, and you know I thought it'd be a little more competitive. But Carolina is crazy deep in every position.
That's the thing is that there's no like head and shoulders above you superstar that's on that team, but everybody carries the weight. It seems like, and
the Rangers apparently can't score in the power play, so.
Yeah, they've been having real problems on the power play.
They were saying the same thing about Carolina the first half of that series against Boston, though. Well, you know what I mean? You're just one game away from turning that around, and then the floodgates open, and it's a problem. That's the weirdest thing about playoff hockey is you could have a team look so lethargic on the power play, and then they just turn it around one game, and it's like round 2 or round 3, you're talking about, the power play was so stout and whatever. It's like spent the whole first round talking about how shitty their power play was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just gets hot and momentum.
Yep.
But the thing is,
it's a killer.
I think Carolina having to face Boston in that first round, I mean, that helped them. That definitely made them who they are. And I think New York probably does not make it to the second round if Sidney Crosby's healthy.
Yeah, of course.
I think the Rangers, they got lucky. They did. And it's starting to show. They have to play this team. But the Avalanche, here's the thing. The Avalanche, when I look at them, they had a very easy first rounder with Nashville, and now you're playing the Blues, and now it's like smash mouth hockey going on there.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of long history there between those two organizations, right? Nashville's kind of new to the scene still, right? Like, you're gonna have that kind of you have two fan bases that for 20 plus years have hated each other, the way those two organizations have, and it's gonna replicate on the ice, and that's exactly what we're seeing. It's one of my favorite things in the world to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's the downfall of getting an easy first round matchup, is that the second round is, takes you a bit to get going.
Totally agree. I mean, and you're seeing it. I mean, that game 1, they had to go to overtime. And it's like, we didn't have to do that with Nashville. We didn't have to do that. The Blues had it tough, like right off the bat with Minnesota. Now they're.
I always forget to factor them in when I think about worst team names.
Who, the Blues?
With you.
The Blues?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's a bit of a bummer. Like, I think they need some edibles or something to cheer them up.
And the Battle of Alberta is definitely
their uniforms stink too. Brad's onto something here.
With the Blues,
the musical, like,
it's terrible.
I don't even know.
They don't get enough credit for being terrible.
Yeah, I don't even know who the mascot is in there either. Is it like, I don't know,
BB King? Howlin' Wolf?
I don't know, man.
Muddy Waters? I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah,
it's like Utah Jazz. It's like, okay, Utah was known for the Jazz. That's cool.
That's a new one to me. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing though, is that they stole that team from New Orleans, and then we're like, oh, but we'll honor your history, right? It's like smallpox, right? Like it's the blanket with smallpox is what the Utah Jazz are.
Oh, that's my favorite thing about the movie, from the South Park guys basketball, when they're talking about trades in the beginning of the game, they're like, and the Minnesota Lakers moved to Los Angeles where there are no lakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
that movie does not get enough credit for how hilarious it is.
So
man,
good.
he's like, what? He's like, that's an Australian joke. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's so funny. Oh my goodness.
Speak Australian. Vagina.
Man. Unbelievable.
Underrated sports film.
It is. You pay 1/17 of the rent, 1/17 of the. Anyway.
Oh yeah, it pulls up to a super sweet bed, but that's Dinkin's bed. Your bed's over here.
Oh man! All right, who's surprised at the conference finals in the NBA? I want to move over to NBA playoffs. Who's surprised? Who's left?
I mean, you gotta be surprised Dallas is still there.
I told you though, there's something about Dallas this season that they were going to pull something off.
Yeah, if Dallas didn't meet Chris Paul in the playoffs, they would have been gone home. They're not good. Last night they had a 19-point lead deep in the second half and gave it all back to the Warriors.
I know. I saw that the first half they were like 72 to like
the
58.
run came with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on the bench.
That's crazy.
On the bench, they gave that run back to them.
I mean, I'm looking at that and I can't even believe that happened, because I remember 72 points going into the half. It's just like
they were up 18 or 19 going in the half, came out, kept that lead there. I think they were 15 going into the fourth, and then just wiped it all off.
Wow. So, I mean, that's hard to do. And yeah, I mean, I mean,
it isn't right. A 15-point game with 8 minutes left in the NBA anymore is not unsurmountable.
What was that? what was that controversy that they had there about Doncic having a beer before the game or something like that? I saw.
Oh yeah, there's a photo. Yeah, but who even knows if that's the timestamp?
That's what they're saying too.
Drinking a beer, and someone tweeted out they saw him before the game, and I also would argue if you think
we're
that
talking,
people
we're
don't
talking
drink,
we're talking one beer.
Yeah, it's
that's health food. It's not like Wade Boggs, drinking a fucking 107 beers on a flight.
Ally Frady, Guy Lafleur smoking in between shifts.
Come on.
Marshawn Lynch taking 2 shots of Hennessy before he goes on the field. You know what I mean? So you
get loose. Who always
not hurting anybody.
Crash?
He's not showing up a case deep. You know what I mean? He's just had a beer with dinner.
Just one beer. That's health food, as far as I'm concerned.
And listen, he's German, right? He's probably been having beer with his breakfast since he was 4. You know what I mean?
Big beer with a nipple on it. Yeah,
that's not nothing new. He's just relaxing.
I wish the NBA were more inclusive and respectful of cultures.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
Get it together, NBA. Get it together.
Now, besides the Mavs and the Warriors, what about the Celtics and the Heat?
I mean, I thought that's who the 2 teams were going to be, and it's a fantastic series. The scores maybe haven't reflected it, but if you watch those games,
it's smash mouth basketball.
Yeah,
they're going at each other.
Yeah.
They're going at each other, and the thing is,
for me being like a born again basketball watcher just here in the postseason, the Nets series was I like that Bucks series a lot, but the Heat series so far has been I'm like, all right, I think I was bearish on basketball when I should have been bullish, because it's way easier for me to consume than the previous series has been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, it's a fun series. Jimmy Butler's a bad man in the playoffs.
He is taking no prisoners. He's speaking his mind. He's letting his voice out on the basketball court. 41 points in game 1, just shutting up Boston. And then Boston, of course, shows up in the second game.
It wasn't just the points though in game 1. He filled the stat sheet. He was moving it everywhere. Blocks, steals, rebounds, assists, all of it.
And he was playing with this chippiness where you're just like, born again here. I didn't think basketball players had that edge anymore. You know what I mean? Because my shit was always the Bird McHale era, and all the smack talk that Larry Bird was throwing at people. And seeing Jimmy Butler out there doing that thing, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw.
I just hate that we're playing against them.
Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are low key trash talkers. But last night Steph hit a 3 to kind of seal the deal. I don't know if you saw it or not, but it was right in front of the Dallas bench. And as he shoots it, he points at it. He goes, "That's the one." And then it hits, and he goes, "Night, night." And then turns it down. It's hard to shoot a basketball, and that guy's so good that at the highest stage he can throw it out there, and while it's in the air, he can point at it, tell you that it's going in, and then celebrate in your face.
Yeah, and again, that's some of the folklore I love about Larry Bird, as told by McHale usually, where you talk that kind of shit like, "Come on, man, we just need to get in the key and draw a foul or something like that." Put it in OT, and Larry Bird's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna go for the 3." He looks over the bench, he's like, "You boys are in trouble, going for the 3," and then he just does it, and they're just like, "I told you."
Yeah.
Did you read the article in the Athletic maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago? That was a compilation of all the best Larry Bird trash talk stories.
I did not.
I did not either.
I'll send it to you. It is top shelf. It is a collection of stories from opponents and teammates.
Wow. I was amazed when you pointed out that the Celtics have been in half of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Since the NBA's inception.
Yeah. That's why Reid's so laissez-faire about if they're playing, because he's like, "Man, we always do."
Yeah, it's like, what else is new? And it's and it's again it's I always give the Habs and the Yankees of the world grief, because they just have this silver spoon firmly embedded in their mouth. But we have that with the Celtics. You know what I mean? The Bill Russell era, dude had 11 rings.
11 rings. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's history that cannot be Like it's so weird to see.
He had 11 NBA championships. So you factor in the gold medals that he won, the college championships and the high school it's ridiculous. It's so silly. The stuff that Bill Russell did is ridiculous.
And it was at a time, and like the NBA always had this thing where it's like it was like Russell, and then there was Wilt, and then there was Larry, and then you had MJ came out, and it's just like, but you're never gonna see what Bill Russell did ever again anywhere ever.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you can't even make the comparison with like a Floyd Mayweather in boxing because he did have the luxury of picking and choosing his opponents, but like it you're never going to see that kind of domination again.
No,
thank God. Because what's the fun of that?
Yeah. I mean, what I'm amazed at right now is in the Cap era, really, that the Golden State Warriors are still that good. Like still going forward. I mean, they have a chance to win again. It's unheard of.
I think you have a lot of guys that want to win more than you make a certain amount of money. You're just like, all right, what more? How much is another 10 million a year going to make a difference?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some guys.
David West is a great example. That David West made a bunch of money playing for New Orleans and those teams, and then like his last 3 years was like, I'll take the vet minimum to come play at Golden State.
Yeah. Won 2 championships. You need that You need to legitimize your career with some championships.
Is that the war hero right there?
This is my lady Una. Yeah, the killer. She is 100% a serial killer, Brad.
Yep, I can tell. You can tell by the necklace. The necklace lets you know.
Her bling. Oh yeah.
Yep. You're in the alleyway and you see that little shine catch you off the street light. You're like, oh, it's over. The Reapers caught me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like this has been I think I picked a good year to come back.
I think you did too.
This Heat series is looking I'm very excited tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a roll tonight.
And the thing is that you legitimately have a Celtics team that could win this championship, win the whole thing. I mean, I can't wait to see the NBA finals. I can't wait because it's just been so entertaining. And same could be said with the Stanley Cup Finals as well. It's just been so entertaining. I can't wait to see. There's no horrid games happening where you're just sitting there going, teams that everybody thought could win. And even with Tampa and Toronto, I mean, you'd be silly to sit there and not pick Tampa because they are the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. This is a team that knows how to win. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's hard to win something 3 times in a row, though. So
it is
silly to pick.
That will be the first time since the New York Islanders from '79 to '83. The first 3-time champion. So there's been.
It's one of those things when we've seen dynasties over the past 15 years, and I've always said you'll never see a three-peat, and here we are, staring down the barrel of one. So
it's crazy. It's crazy.
But I think the NBA is like, and again, even my kind of peripheral view of NBA all year, it's kind of going how you'd expect it to go, and I think the NHL is going to go a little differently this season. I think we're going to be a little surprised with the NHL Finals matchup.
But
NBA from where I'm sitting seems to be going the way. No one's shocked, no one's surprised.
Yeah, they were early. I think there was a lot of hype with Brooklyn, and then Brooklyn just really fell completely apart.
I don't know. I just think
in 2 ways. Yeah, one with Kyrie not playing, right? Which, if you man, this is a sidebar, but if you two haven't listened to the new Kendrick Lamar album, man, you got to get there because that thing is magical.
I knocked out new Kendrick Lamar and Cat Williams this week.
Yeah, fantastic work by both of them. Yeah, unbelievable work.
Yeah.
But Brooklyn was probably the favorite coming out of the East to start with, right? But then when Kyrie was unavailable and like that really matters. James Harden went the way he went. Ben Simmons can't get his life together.
It's weird how much ire Ben Simmons draws from wherever he plays.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And Durant looked human. He looked human
for once.
Yeah. Here's my thing though, man, is that all the pundits, I'm sick of hearing the pundits in the NBA. I think that they're actually the worst things. You have a Stephen A. Smith and everybody else getting on to, it's either Golden State, Los The Lakers or the Nets are like the only two teams in the NBA, it feels like. And it's like there's so much talent right now. There's like I don't know why people are trying to always push for the super team. It's good to see talent across the board where it just makes it that much more entertaining to watch, you know.
Yeah, and that was what was like the hardest sell for me with basketball. You know, again, I stopped watching 2008 when the Celtics got the big three, and I was just like, this just is not. It's not as fun anymore. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, you started to see some parity in the ranks.
Yeah. But even your big three, you only got one NBA title out of that. I mean, it wasn't like dynasty. It was one.
Yeah, but it was the beginning of the super teams, and now you're seeing that everybody's got three, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're not the same big three, but everyone's got three they can roll to. And that's what happened in Milwaukee in their series, right? Not having Chris Middleton. They just didn't have the horses to go.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt,
that series is maybe different if he plays.
Brooklyn.
It no longer is it, or it wasn't for a long time, like about the bench, right?
Yep.
It was just about having those superstars. And that was a tough pill for me to swallow because, again, that was Paul Pierce's team for a long time.
Oh yeah,
and then seeing those other big superstars, personalities, guys I have no problem with. I like them a lot, But yeah, I'm glad to see it's gonna get shuffled.
Garnett's book that just came out this year. Came out in 2021. It's a good book.
Did not.
You should read it.
Yeah,
it talks a lot about that stuff. That Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce were high school teammates.
Yeah,
in the AAU circuit, and that's how that whole thing came together. And so there's a really good set of chapters in that Kevin Garnett book that lays out how Boston happened and how they, they've been planning that for a while and were able to finally get it done. So
this is KG A to Z.
That's the one.
Nice. Oh, yeah. And he narrates it on Audible. That's hell
yeah.
Yeah. So like at least with that, it's organic, right? There is a bit of organic activity there going on. So it's less gross.
Those guys are trying to put that together as opposed to like,
ownership,
I think
or like the summer calling and just be like, hey man, I think you'd be a good fit. Like there was like they were trying to get that together since they were 16.
Do you think that the Celtics or the Heat were like the first super team? Because when you look at the Bulls back in the day, they already had two, and then fill it in with a Horace Grant. You fill it in with whoever.
Well, you can say that for the Celtics too, right? In a couple of different ways. And the difference for me is that those were mostly organic outside. So the Bulls they had Horace Grant, so their first three was organic, and the second one they just brought Rodman in.
You know
what I mean? They're not bringing in all these separate pieces to try to make a three. The same thing with the Celtics, right? It was McHale and Bird and Parrish and and those guys. Those were all homegrown guys. They weren't bringing in someone else to come play with them, and that's the old timers beef with this whole thing, right? Larry's been pretty upfront about like, hey, when we did it, like we just had our squad and we didn't give it, like we weren't trying to team up. He's like, I wasn't recruiting Isaiah Thomas in the offseason to come play in Boston. You know what I mean? Like
right.
And that's the trap I literally fell into in 2008 was, I read so many books, I listened to so much material that was available online at the time. It's like, it's kind of weird to see, but and I do differentiate between, you got a guy like LeBron, people want to go play with LeBron, right? Like I get that. That's not a faux pas on my part. But when people are making calls in the off season to try to grab some, drum up some talent, it's a little gross. But,
well, I mean, like for me, it was like you had to look at what happened with Boston, and I wasn't really upset with Boston. Where I got upset was Miami because that was like so blatant. It was like that was blatant, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
Tuck your Raptors skirt back in, Sean. It's starting to show a little bit.
Wow, that was blatant.
Blatant because they stole Chris Bosh from the Toronto Raptors.
Well, the way how Chris Bosh handled everything, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah. Listen, Chris Bosh probably got his coming back to him the way his career ended, right? So maybe
it was pretty bad. Yeah.
Show him up, but just give him a little bit there.
Yeah, and now you look at
and
Lowry.
He's a tool shed. You wouldn't want that guy anyway. Do you see him last year in the playoffs? He like wrote a book, and so he showed up courtside to all his games, like carrying his book with him, like he was reading it while he was at the game. Like, come on, you don't want that guy. He's not the face of your franchise.
No. It's going to be Kyle Lowry. I mean, he'll probably sign a one-day deal, come back, retire as a Raptor.
Not if he wins 2 championships in Miami. He's not.
Yep.
I don't even see him on the bench of the Heat games, but he has fully embraced the Heat lifestyle. That Miami culture has
100%.
gotten to him.
Good for him.
He is full linen.
He deserves
linen short sets and white suede sneakers and
He's watching Bad Boys for Life every night.
Oh yeah,
I get it.
Yep, he looks like Martin Lawrence, circa 2002.
Man,
Yep.
Well, he deserves.
I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't play tonight.
Yeah. Is Marcus Smart back in the series here?
Yeah, he played game 2.
He played game 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Tell me, nobody. I mean, that's Kyle Lowry 2.0. Is Marcus Smart?
Marcus Smart is the heartbeat of the Celtics organization.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. Anybody that's willing
he's
to take
he's not their best player by far.
But he gets under your skin. He gets under your skin.
That
He'll
dude,
take those charges.
That dude turns games like no one else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he eats up minutes too. Like that's a big thing for a guy like that. And he's a pesky dude. Very high IQ as well.
Yeah.
So he's a lot of fun to watch.
He's interesting because he'll sit 4 fouls in the third quarter and he'll play the rest of the game out and close with 4, and you'll never notice a difference in his fall off. He just controls it. Man. That's what I've learned watching Celtics. This is Celtics all year. I'm a closet Celtics fan. And I just, I hate myself for saying this, but I love Jason Tatum, which I shouldn't because he went to Duke, and I generally abhor Duke players.
Yep. Across the board. I hate Duke's crew team, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, all of them. If he just says Duke, I'm like, meh, I'm out. But Jason Tatum is so good. Anyway.
Well, okay, Brad. We'll send you some gear.
Yeah. Well, I started it back in, like when because my team's been gone for a while, right? And so like the Isaiah Thomas Celtics, him and Brad Stevens really had me going for those years, right? When they made those deep runs.
Yeah.
And so I've been a little bit dabbling as a C's fan for, a couple of years now.
Well, that was my team before the Raptors came. Was the Celtics? It was. Yeah. I loved. I was a Larry Bird fan.
Yeah.
So I'm always pleasantly happy when they're in the postseason. They're going far. Yeah. Unless they're playing my Raps, then I'm sorry. I gotta go.
Boston has always been my East Coast favorite.
And they always managed to pick up who they need in order to become like relevant again. You know what I mean? They're never out for too long. So
no,
yeah,
it's like, honestly, it's quietly one of the best run organizations from a GM perspective.
Yeah.
Because if they fall off, it's like you said, it's not long. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the frustrating years I had lived through with the Bruins, we had all this talent, couldn't get it done. The Celtics were just always there, not disappointing you, and not breaking your heart really if you lose.
No, you're just happy to be there, right? At least they're competitive.
Yeah,
that's all you really. I think it boils down to fandom. That's what it is, right? It's good to win, but like as long as your team's competitive, you'll still rock with it. It sucks is when they're not, right? Is when they have poor coaching or not enough talent or GM work or all that stuff.
It's tough.
Competitiveness.
It's tough when you're losing and there isn't a good reason for it, and you're seeing the decisions being made. And you're just like, and again, that was my thing with the Bruins for years. When I was a kid, it was just like it was so frustrating to see the decision making, and if you just got ownership out of the way, it wouldn't be a problem, right?
Yep.
And I'm not unique. Chicago had that for a long time, with the Blackhawks and stuff like that. So it happens.
Well, even like taking that one step further, right? Like Chicago really overcame their ownership issues and their GM, because if you think back to what 98 was, right? All that turmoil that happened in 97, like they forced Phil, Michael forced them to bring him back together one more time. Right. They were going to blow the whole thing up and start over. And he convinced them to do one more run. And then they all left.
Left, yeah.
And that team had more juice, right? Like Jerry Krause should have got out of his own damn way and let them go. We might have seen 4. We might have seen 5.
Yep.
You can't convince me that 98 Bulls team was, at the peak of its greatness. So,
yeah.
It's interesting.
It has been. It's been
Stupid.
interesting. All right, so this is a very, very short sample size here, but the Major League Baseball season so far.
That's very mature of you to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I've never heard that come out of your mouth.
Yeah, it's pretty much in its infancy. But is there any surprises so far at this early stage?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
No?
I think you're
The
seeing
Yankees,
more.
Yankees are surprising the hell out of me. I was
Well,
expecting this from
well,
the Yankees.
So one, I don't pay attention to the Yankees. One, so you'd have to tell me what's happening there. I don't even know.
They just keep winning. That's what's happening with the Yankees. They just keep winning. I don't even understand it. You're seeing Josh Donaldson reborn.
I mean, you don't understand it. They
Because-
have 27 world championships.
No,
What do you
I
think
know
they
that.
do?
Yeah, they don't have that team though. That you would think like this is the team that's going to win the division this year. You have a look on paper. The Jays are like all over that, but the Jays, their bats haven't even come alive yet. They're and Tampa's always somehow whatever that they bring to the payroll are bringing us a legit team every year. Every year they have a legit team. I'm like, what in the world is going on in Tampa?
Tampa does. They built from the bullpen out, so
Yep.
you can a lot of those coin toss games kind of go their way because of that. Because they have the relief.
They just keep it tight.
Stern.
You know, in these one-run games.
Well, listen, with the Jays record could be drastically the other way. If you
Well,
look at
let's
April,
hold on. Let's talk real quick about the Jays.
all
'cause I just
the
realized-
one-run
hold on,
games
hold on,
that they
hold on.
won.
Hold on. Your hat looks a lot like a Tampa Bay's Rays hat.
No,
That
this is
new
very
logo.
much a Blue Jays. This is
No.
old
If you look at
2000 era.
if you look at the design of it, like that looks like a Tampa hat, Sean.
Get out of here. This is all Blue Jays all the way. You know it.
Nope.
It's 2000.
No, I understand it's a
Yeah.
Blue Jays hat. I'm just telling you that does
Roy
not
Halladay
look like-
edition here, buddy. No.
If you didn't have an HD camera, I wouldn't know the difference.
Whatever, man. You guys, look at that Blue Jay right there. Look at that
Yeah.
Blue Jay right there. Look at that.
That hat looks like it's been in a plane crash. Anyway,
It crashed into the mountain of Sean's head.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm there. I'm shocked with that. Seattle, I thought was going to be. Well, it's still early though. Who knows? Seattle
here's the
could turn it
thing.
on.
Here's the thing, right? Seattle was a
Turn it
lot
on.
of fun last year. In the end, they made a run for it. Guess what their record is now? Remember, they were hot last year to start.
Yeah.
What their record is right now, they're a game different than they were last year at the same point.
That's crazy. So I mean, yeah. I mean, it's so
Man,
early.
Seattle fans are losing their mind. It's so terrible. They don't want to be associated with it. Like, oh, this team sucks. I'm like, we're a game different than we were last year.
Yeah.
And clearly better. What are we talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
your pitching has definitely got better, right? I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
Robbie Ray
looking
and his
at
mullet and tight pants and his yelling
Robbie
from the
Ray's awesome, man. I mean, I'm happy we got Gossman here in Toronto. I mean, it was
what's interesting is I think we all thought Robbie Ray was going to come in and be the quote unquote ace, and man, Logan Gilbert gave him a run for his money and is going to be the better pitcher long term.
don't forget Robbie Ray's
That
been around
is
the block.
such a
Sure,
But
but I'm
that's-
just saying we
that's-
came in thinking he was going to be the guy, and I mean, not that he's not a guy, but he's not.
He's still the Cy Young winner, man. It's
that's
not
why you
like-
bring in a guy like that sometimes, though. It's because
Yeah.
you got some other dudes down there in the deck that can
That
give
need
him
to
a little
learn from him.
competition.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, little veteran presence there, and then next thing
Well,
you know,
yeah, I agree. And I'm not saying Robbie
Rising
Ray
tide
wasn't a
raises
great
all
signing.
ships.
Robbie Ray was right, but he's raising the floor of that whole entire pitching room.
Exactly.
It's the move.
You know.
And that's one of the toughest jobs in professional sport. And if you get a guy that can sit there and show you how to do it and be successful, and he's got the right personality, which
Yeah.
the dude's got a personality, and drum up a little excitement there on that front. It's all good for them.
Yeah.
And who's your young center fielder there right now?
Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's it. So that guy's he's gonna put some butts in seats. I mean,
Dude, he's so fun to watch.
yeah.
I watched
Everything he does
I
is
watched
fun.
2 Mariners games this week because Brad was drumming them up last time we talked.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
And the
Yeah.
thing is, I mean, there's right now there's so much young talent in the Major League Baseball, all over the place.
Baseball's pretty fun right now.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
wildly
great
fun.
to watch these guys. I'm so glad that it did not go on strike. I don't even know. I'd be so upset if they went on strike.
That would have been really detrimental. And I think the big thing for baseball as a whole, as an ecosystem, they were like, we got so much young talent right now. We got everything going for us. Let's not fuck this up. And let's be real, right? Baseball, out of the top 3 sports, they get the most heat because it's not a lot of fun to watch the whole game, as a casual observer. And it's one of those things that even I'll throw on the TV, and then next thing you know, I'm in a nap.
Yep.
Isn't that the best thing about baseball?
Yeah, listen, you wake up and you're like,
best naps. The best naps are on Saturday afternoons, about 3:00. You get the windows open. It's hot outside. There's baseball on, and you can sleep through like the 3rd through the 8th inning, 7th inning.
And then you wake
best nap of your life.
And it was a close game. You didn't really miss much because now this is
you
where
wake
it's really
up,
baseball.
right?
Yeah,
Like it's just starting to get heated. I will say it's a bit like I do like that the umpires have gone to announcing what the challenges are. I think that's a better move.
Yeah.
But man, some of these like throwing out players for some stuff is getting a little bit.
Well, I think the umpires, I don't know, like they've been a little controversial this season.
They're a little cranky.
Strike zone,
I think they're a little bit cranky. Yeah.
Strike zone seems to have expanded. It's like,
no, it's gone the other way. Julio Rodriguez saw like 44 strikeouts in his first month of the season, and I won't say every single one, but I think 40 of the 44 had a strike that was outside, like clearly outside.
That's what I mean. It's expanded the strike zone. It's like what?
They were just smoking that poor kid.
That ball's in the dirt. He didn't switch.
Yep.
Strike.
Yep.
It's been terrible.
Yeah,
the umping has been terrible.
Usually it's not a problem. Like, right, like we talk about this time of year, everyone adjusts, right? All your batters adjust, and then you don't even notice it. But it has been exceptional this season to see where it's like, what do you do?
I wonder how much reps mattered when they got in. Missing all the spring training games.
Yeah, this was almost a strike season. You know what I mean? So
like the players, okay, so they would have the problems of like maybe soft tissue damage and stuff like that for not playing. But what about the umps? They just never got enough reps to see what a strike is. Oh, I forget what a strike looks like. Forget.
It's tough.
That's a hard thing to do.
They need to go to robot umps. And soon. It's like, the umping has been bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And again, we have the luxury of hindsight, right? Yeah. Like even a second after the ball's thrown.
That was the great thing about it. Cliff Floyd. There was an Apple TV broadcast of a Mariners game, so that's what why I watched the version of it. I don't remember who that people were, but one of them was Cliff Floyd, right, for the Marlins. And he was talking about how like that automated strike zone really changed how he approached umpires, because he would be like, man, that pitch was off. And then he would go back and look at it and it would be on. And he'd be like, all right, I should probably calm down, because, the batter's view is different than the umpire's view and the catcher's view. And, so he said he started to go back and watch the broadcast feeds of all of his at-bats to see where the pitches were actually falling through. So then the next day he would go back out and, have a conversation with those guys about what he was seeing or what they weren't seeing. So
yeah, that'll all get cleaned up. And again, the benefit of what we have today with perspective, right? Because we could all see the same car crash and we're all going to have something different to say about it. And those guys have to do that, 90 times a game.
Very true.
In the moment when it matters, right? That's the thing. They don't have the privilege of replay like we do.
I gotta admit though, there is nothing better than going to the ballpark on a Saturday afternoon, and just sitting there and taking it all in. Just
hell yeah, love
going.
It's my favorite sport to go see live.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
it's
I love
no
hockey,
stress, no pressure.
Love football, but baseball is just something's just, I don't know, man. And I'm Canadian, but it's something very American about it.
You can go wait in the line for a beer, for 30 minutes, and as long as you're hearing the announcer,
you're not affected. It's like, as long as I don't miss a home run, I'm okay. And if it's a solo, who cares?
Even if you do, as long as you're prepared for the weather, that's all that matters.
Man, all right.
I'm dead serious. We went to the opening weekend here, right? And it just happened to be like in the upper 40s, right? But we were prepared. It didn't rain. It was nice. It was a great time at the ballpark.
Yeah. I'm so happy we have a dome. Just,
it's the worst.
Oh, you got a dome, all right.
Yeah.
All right. It's 101 question time. Do we have one on one. I'm not going to call it American again because you guys got all offended and just like.
We didn't get offended. We were confused.
What in the world? So
no one's heard that before.
I know, which is strange from America.
I tried to go buy a Canadian history book to see if I could figure out the origins of it, but they wouldn't sell it to me because I wasn't a member of the congregation. So
you weren't in the cult.
Free press. I was like, oh, there's no free press in Canada. They won't sell me one of their Canadian history books. Weird.
Oh, Brad. All right, Brad. Do you have a one-on-one question?
Why do I gotta lead it off all the time?
Because you're the guy, man. You're the guy. You're the man with the plan.
Okay. Let's talk about barbecues for the summer.
All right, barbecues. I love it.
You show up to a barbecue, right? You got a good spread going. Okay. Just think about the spread. But I want to talk about the origins, or not the origins, but like how we divvy up the meats here, right?
Yeah.
So you show up, you got a little bit of brisket. Okay. You got some brats and you got a burger. What's your ideal pairings there?
Brisket and brats.
We talking condiments or just
nope, how are you gonna divvy out all that meat to make sure you get a piece of all of it?
I just want briskets and brats. You can do it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm getting one of everything.
I like it.
But I'm all about a brisket, 2 brats, no bun to save the room, and then a burger.
No bun. And then because I'm also I'm a sides fiend, so
yeah,
I need to make room for the cornbread for the salads. The slop.
Macaroni salad, you got to have room for that.
I have a plate. So I usually roll 2 plates, right? I have a plate just for meat and condiments, and then I have a plate for sides.
Yep. And we're up here we're very big bean family. We have our baked beans. I have a whole damn plate for that alone.
My mother-in-law makes some baked beans, and they have sausage, bacon, some syrup in them.
Oh, the best hand-me-down I got when my mom passed was her bean pie collection that were her mother's. So that's that's a big thing for us. It's not just the name of the big college hockey tournament. I got the special bean pot, and I get to show up at the family barbecue with it, and just like, what's up? Come get some of this.
Yep. Whenever we all get together, you're gonna have to break that out. We need to.
I like it.
Sample the old time thing. Sean, you got any questions?
Yeah, I do. All right. So if you're there and you're at a nice party, you're not paying, but you got upscale Scotch or upscale Irish whiskey. What are you taking?
Upscale Scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And again, like I'm a,
Scotch all day.
I have to agree as well. I don't know, something about the peat.
Well, I mean, like Scotch is like, it's one word to define a weird distribution of different flavors and styles and stuff like that. So you can cover a lot. And, I even throw in like the Japanese single malts and into that mix as well. So you got a lot more variety than you do with the Irish whiskey, I think.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I love Redbreast. I love a lot of those nice Irish whiskeys. But yeah, I'm going to go with like McClellan's over that any day of the week.
Yeah, and if we're talking like a high scale establishment, I'm a Tully Dew and Jameson guy myself. Usually, that's Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
If I'm putting on airs, I'm going with the Scotch.
I got a bow tie on, son. Scotch.
Yeah.
All day.
This is the way it works.
I love it.
All day.
I love it. We're Scotchmen. I like it. We should be wearing kilts this coming week.
See, I just knew it was going to be a step too far. I knew it.
We should be wearing kilts this week. Yeah.
Today and tomorrow, I might need it. It's gonna again pushing 100 both days. So,
hey, do you go commando in kilts?
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
That's the point of the bull scrotum. When you sit down, the bull scrotum kind of knocks down the kilt.
Yeah.
So they can't see your bull scrotum.
Yeah.
Oh.
Underwear is redundant at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Huh.
You got to powder the boys before you go out in public, or do you just roll it out there?
Yeah, and I'm probably doing a couple of repows in between. You know what I mean? Freshening up.
Right?
I got thick thighs, and it's I'm making dough down there if I put too much powder. So you just do a little bit here, a little bit there. So I'll have biscuits by the end of that barbecue.
I was wearing my kilt to a couple of Scottish games and stuff like that, and I had to ask Joanna, like, how do you go to the bathroom with this thing, man? Like, we have to take a number 2. How do you?
You just hitch it up. Hitch up your skirt.
You gotta cinch it up, It's like up it goes.
Hey, you just bunch it up in the front.
That's
The thing I love about Sean is that he's not afraid of shit anywhere.
No.
Some of us are more shit at home guys, but for Sean's like wherever it strikes me.
Well,
I feel like I'm too big for a porta john. Yeah. And then Sean's just like, oh, buddy, come on, this is a good place to drop a
Sean's just like staggered into a ballpark, just like brushing people away. I need to use the stall.
Yeah, but in the States, you guys have the ass condoms, so it's like the best, Like in Canada, we have toilet paper. We gotta put the toilet paper across,
The gasket? You mean the gasket?
Yeah.
Why do you call it ass condom?
Because that's what it is. You put your ass there, and you're not collecting any sort of diseases. It's like there we go, and you flush it away.
Live on toilet seats?
Yeah.
What? When's the last time you got a disease from sitting on a toilet seat and it got on your ass, and then later on you were upset about it?
I have no idea because I put toilet paper everywhere. What? No.
Yeah. Sean's an old man. He's had a lot of time to get ass diseases.
That's before the internet,
because he was raw dogging porta potties.
Yep.
Safety first, Sean.
Feels like some misinformation.
Oh, I'm crying over your boys. Oh my goodness. Hey.
As usual, either it's the Leafs or it's us, but one way or the other, Sean, you're going to be crying at the end of this thing.
Yep. Right now, you're dealing with a combination of the two. So,
yep.
I love it.
An episode with Reid and I is a lot like a Leafs playoff series. You're going to end with crying.
Yeah, Brad and Reid together equal the first round.
Yep.
I will say respect. You guys gave me 1 day to grieve, so thank you for that. There,
we're humans.
We're the shitty Graham's out.
John, I gotta say, I didn't get to say. I did feel bad about my joke where I'm like, you know what I do when I cheer, but I want to be cheered up.
I
think about the Leafs versus the first round. I'm like, that probably won't work for you right now, but it always cheers me up.
I literally almost spit my drink out when I read that, Reid. I just want you to know that was. I could see it coming, and the payoff was still so cool.
I wish I was fucking joking, but when the Bruins got out, the first thing I did was open up Google and just like, okay, it's gonna be all right. Tampa Bay did what they had to do. Yep. I can move on, because if the Bruins got knocked out in Toronto, if they proceeded, I wouldn't be as happy as I am right now.
Reid would be in a social media fast if the Bruins had lost and the Leafs had moved on.
Oh. All right.
And by social media fast, I mean not responding to Sean's text messages.
That would have been a mute so bad. I get another one of those drunk dial Facebook Messenger drunk dials. Hey, buddy.
Listen, man.
Sorry about your Bruins. Yeah. Toronto's in it. You can come and join the
I Leafs. Wish I knew your pain, but my Maple Leafs.
2013.
What is it like?
That's what I learned not to do anything with Reid. Because I remember that 4-1 on the Reid, we're destroying your Bruins, and that was it. That was the end of it.
You haven't learned, though, because we saw it how many times this football season. It happens all the time. You're like, oh, we're looking great, boys. Shit the bed. I celebrated too early. Yeah. Yeah, story of your life. Story of your life.
Just one thing, I just want a sure thing. Oh, my gosh.
Oh. You don't.
Yeah. That brings us to another... wonderful.
I don't get a one-on-one.
Yeah, I want to hear yours.
Go for it, Reid. What the heck?
All right, with the impending recession, right? And I've been thinking a lot about this. And it's coming. It has to come. Recession's ultimately a good thing. Gas prices will go down. But what is everyone giving up? If we have another repeat of 2008, a great recession, what thing is everyone giving up for the recession lent?
I didn't give up anything in 2008. Canada wasn't touched, but now it's.
But you're gonna be touched.
Yeah, I know.
So what's the one thing that you have to stop doing? DoorDash.
Yeah.
Tommy Bahama shirts. What are you doing?
Well, we didn't have DoorDash in 2008, but yeah, DoorDash would definitely have.
He's not asking for the same thing. He's saying like right now, like what do you got to cut out of when the recession hits?
When the recession hits, what is the one thing that you're gonna
DoorDash is
grudgingly have to give up?
Ordering out is gone, like down to like one. So Blue moon, right? It's like, yeah.
Once a day. I saw you fix your lips up to say day. You said blue moon. You're like, once a day.
How often is there a blue moon in Toronto?
Yeah.
St. Louis over there? Come on, slow down.
Man, you know what's amazing about Toronto is that there's so many lights, right? You can't even see the stars. You don't see the stars.
You just described every city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever. It's still Toronto.
It's the
right,
third
Brad, what are you
biggest
giving
city in Canada. Reid, show some respect.
It's saying a lot. All right, Brad, what are you giving up for recession lent?
Probably my loose clothes buying budget that fluctuates wildly.
How big of a budget is that usually, percentage wise?
I can't say it right now.
I'm not even sure if Brad's worn the same shirt on these episodes. I think Brad's worn a different shirt on every single episode. Yeah. So
I own 3 t-shirts.
I think about it. I think about what I've worn before. I try not to wear the same hat twice on these shows. You know, I travel like that. I'm like, oh, the last time I went to this place, I took this stuff. None of that shit's going in case I run into someone I ran into last time. You know. So,
yeah, Brad's the drip god.
I've got a problem.
Yeah.
Well, all right, that's gonna be a tough sell. I'm gonna feel that one. If I start seeing the same shirt week after week, I'm gonna be like, ooh, this is a tough recession. Great Depression, eat your heart out.
Yep.
Look at the sacrifice.
Oh man,
the sacrifice I make. I had to actually wash this shirt before I could wear it again.
Well, that definitely brings us to the end of this episode. Then, tune in the next time. I don't know when it's going to be because we're busy guys right now. It's summer and things are happening, but hopefully we're here next week, eh?
No, we should be.
Yeah,
it's the playoffs. I care about the playoffs.
Yeah. So
tune in. It's real rough when it's only baseball season. I'll tell you that right now. We'll be back in full swing for football season. We got some fun things coming. Yeah. You know, who knows what you're going to see or what's going to happen? We'll find out shortly.
Will Brad wear the same shirt?
Keep watching.
Yeah.
Later, kids.
Adios.
Right. Take it easy.
You've listened to the podcast, but now it's time to visit us in our virtual sports bar. Get all of our info at guysbeersports.com, where you can find all the ways to connect with us. Watch for live conversations with Brad and Sean that happen throughout the week, and join in with your favorite local beer. You can share your thoughts in the conversation comments with your own uploaded videos, or even join us as a guest live commentator. The GBS Virtual Sports Bar is open for business. Come on in, boys and girls.